The quiet of the animal shelter during the late-night shift was a familiar comfort, but on this particular evening, it was broken by a sound that immediately set volunteer Mia on edge. It was Luna, a gentle-natured German shepherd, but her usual calm had been replaced by a series of low, distressed whimpers. As Mia made her final rounds, she found the dog unusually restless, pacing her kennel and displaying the unmistakable signs of impending labor. When Luna's whimpers escalated into urgent, panting cries, Mia didn't hesitate. She quickly alerted the on-duty veterinarian, Dr. Evans, and the serene night instantly shifted into one of focused, tense anticipation. The small medical team gathered around Luna's enclosure, their preparations for a standard canine birth tinged with a growing sense that the outcome would be far from ordinary. The tension in the room escalated with each passing contraction. When the first newborn arrived, the team's expectant smiles froze on their faces. Dr. Evans, who had been ready to receive a wriggling puppy, paused, his hands hovering in mid-air. The creature was swaddled in birth sack, but its form was wrong. Its fur was an unusual charcoal gray, its ears were set at an odd angle, and its nose was more pointed than any German shepherd pup he had ever seen. Most unsettling of all was its eerie silence and the way it moved with a deliberate, unpuppy-like coordination as he cleaned it. While Luna immediately began to care for it with instinctual devotion, licking it clean, Dr. Evans and Mia exchanged a look of profound confusion and concern. The mystery of Luna's offspring had just begun, and it was deepening by the second. The situation grew increasingly surreal as Luna delivered not one, but 4 more newborns, each one a perfect, identical copy of the first. All 5 shared the same dark, smoky fur, the same peculiar ear shape, and the same sharp, vulpine muzzle. A chorus of mewling puppy cries should have filled the room, but instead, there was a heavy, unnatural silence. Dr. Evans, a man of science and decades of experience, was visibly stunned, muttering under his breath that this was biologically impossible. Exhausted but radiating a fierce, primal protectiveness, Luna curled her body around her unusual litter, emitting low, rumbling growls at anyone who dared step too close. This hypervigilance was far beyond the typical wariness of a new mother dog. It was the behavior of a creature prepared to defend her young to the death, adding another layer of alarm to the already thick atmosphere of confusion. Dr. Evans knew he needed a closer examination. Waiting for a moment when Luna was momentarily distracted, he carefully lifted one of the silent newborns. His touch confirmed his worst fears: the dark, dense fur, the slender limbs, the sharp, needle-like claws. Every feature was alien. He listened with his stethoscope. The heartbeat was strong, but its rhythm was strange, unlike that of a canine. He repeated the process with each of the 5, his face growing paler with each confirmation. They were all identical, and they were all wrong. Luna watched his every move, a low growl rumbling in her chest, her entire body tense. She seemed to sense the profound abnormality of her litter. Her behavior a stark and frightening contrast to her normally gentle nature. A cold, heavy silence fell over the shelter, the mystery of the litter's true nature casting a deep shadow of unease. Finally, Dr. Evans delivered the shocking conclusion that everyone feared but could not articulate. "They're not puppies," he stated, his voice hollow with disbelief. "These are fox kits, red fox kits." The revelation sent a tangible wave of shock through the small group of volunteers. Mia and her colleague, Jake, struggled to process the information. How could a German shepherd, who had been isolated in the shelter's care for nearly 3 months, have given birth to a litter of foxes? Dr. Evans was adamant, citing his early career experience with a wildlife rescue and pointing out the kits' distinct vulpine features: the facial structure, the leg proportions, the specific texture of their fur. The impossible had not only happened, it was lying right in front of them. A biological mystery that defied all logic and forced the team to confront a reality they were utterly unprepared for. Determined for answers, Dr. Evans and the volunteers retreated to the office and pored over Luna's intake records. The file revealed a crucial, though baffling, clue. Luna had been found scared, malnourished, and with a healing leg injury near the perimeter of Fox Ridge, a large state forest renowned for its dense population of wild red foxes. This single detail provided a tantalizing piece of the puzzle. The team could only theorize that something completely unexplained, a bizarre biological event beyond their current understanding, must have occurred during Luna's time in the wild, before a good Samaritan found her and brought her to the safety of the shelter. The how remained a terrifying, impenetrable mystery, but the where at least offered a starting point into the unknown. The first rays of the morning sun cast a gentle, golden glow through the kennel windows, illuminating a scene of such profound tenderness it felt almost sacred. Luna, the German shepherd, lay curled on a plush bed of fresh blankets, her body a protective circle around the 5 small creatures nestled against her warm belly. Her expression was one of serene devotion, her eyes soft as she watched her unusual nurslings nuzzle and feed. Yet, Dr. Evans, observing from the doorway with his arms crossed, felt a persistent, nagging unease that the peaceful image could not dispel. The immediate, visceral shock of the birth had subsided, but the core mystery remained, a deep and unsettling shadow lurking just beyond this picture of tranquility. He knew, with a certainty that settled in his bones, that to truly comprehend the impossible event that had transpired in his shelter, they would need to venture beyond its walls. The answer lay in tracing Luna's own story back to its origin, deep into the untamed heart of the forest where she had been found, scared and alone. This underlying tension erupted into a sudden, terrifying crisis later that same day. Without warning, 2 of the fox kits grew disturbingly listless, their tiny bodies going limp. The most alarming sign was the desperate, shallow heaving of their chests as they struggled to draw air. The serene kennel was instantly transformed into a high-stakes emergency ward, with a calm born of practiced urgency. Dr. Evans and his team swooped into action. Their movements were a synchronized ballet of care as they gently lifted the fragile newborns and placed them into a pre-warmed incubator, carefully fitting them with miniature oxygen masks. The minutes that followed were agonizing, the silence broken only by the mechanical hum of the incubator and the anxious, held breaths of the volunteers watching. Then, a breakthrough that felt nothing short of miraculous. The kids, who had been eerily silent since the moment of their birth, emitted faint, reedy cries. The sound, though weak, was a lifeline, washing a powerful wave of collective relief over the entire room. Luna, who had been whining and pacing restlessly, seemed to intuitively understand the life-saving nature of their intervention. She settled down, her watchful eyes fixed on the incubator, her earlier defensive growls replaced by a quiet, trusting vigilance. While the team fought for the kids' survival inside, a different kind of storm, one of relentless public fascination, was brewing outside. The extraordinary story, despite their best efforts to contain it, had leaked online. It spread with viral ferocity, morphing from a hushed local secret into a full-blown national spectacle. By the afternoon, a small crowd of reporters and television camera crews had gathered at the shelter's gates, their voices a persistent murmur. Inside, the phones rang off the hook with calls from every major news network, incredulous international animal organizations, and fascinated geneticists eager to study the biological anomaly. Their private mystery had been violently thrust into an unforgiving, international spotlight. Yet, amid the external chaos, the kennel itself remained an island of sanctuary. Within those walls, a profound and unshakable bond had solidified between Luna and her litter. A powerful connection that transcended species and defied all logical explanation. Under her diligent and constant care, the kids not only survived but began to truly thrive. Then came another heartening breakthrough. The once silent creatures began to make soft, chirping sounds, a vocalization that, while strange, was an undeniable sign of growing strength and vitality that filled the shelter staff with awe. It was a pure, powerful display of a mother's love that moved everyone who witnessed it. A week later, Dr. Evans arrived with the long-awaited answers, holding a report from a top-tier wildlife genetics lab. He gathered the staff and revealed the conclusive findings. The kits were not pure foxes. They were incredibly rare canid hybrids, with DNA confirming they were part dog and part red fox. This scientific conclusion finally solved the biological puzzle that had captivated them all. The specialists theorized that during her time as a stray, Luna had mated with a male fox, an interspecies pairing so rare it was documented only a handful of times in scientific literature. The public, already enthralled, embraced the story of Mama Luna, which became a potent symbol of unconditional love that transcends all boundaries. Careful plans were made for the healthy hybrids to be placed in specialized wildlife sanctuaries equipped to care for such unique animals. As for Luna herself, the devoted shepherd who had nurtured a miracle, The shelter was inundated with adoption offers from around the country, finally promising her the peaceful, loving forever home she had always deserved. The entire ordeal concluded not merely as the resolution of a startling scientific anomaly, but as a beautiful and enduring testament to the unexpected, powerful, and boundless nature of a mother's love. That's all about our stories. Do you have any thoughts after hearing the story? Please share it in the comments below.